ものは残土今のリスタだ Preachers, preachers, preachers 身軽なところでただ切りゆくだけ真っ白な世界に見える一つの壊すべきもの Preachers, preachers, preachers 余計なものは全部今捨て去って Preachers, preachers, preachers 身軽なところでただ走りゆくだけ真っ白な視界に見える全ての守るべきもの迷いない瞳が今
Ladies and gentlemen, I am OneManCast. Before I begin, I must say a couple of things. One is that when I come up with these theories, they are all meant in good fun and are to be treated as either sheer fanon or, if you prefer, Word of Dante. Not once are these theories ever to be treated as Word of God. That right only belongs to Sunako, whom I believe is the author behind the series. The second thing I must mention is to make a distinction. When game, anime, film/TV theorists use the term theory, they are using it incorrectly. Theory is a scientific process and result which either requires a certain mass of common acceptance or something proven through careful experimentation and analysis, which as a theory has been proven from the state of hypothesis. Note that all theorists on YouTube are on the stages of hypothesis, so they are instead hypothesicists, or whatever you would like to call the equivalent term to theorists, for those using theory where hypothesis belongs. Note that unlike others, I use the term theorist incorrectly in entire intentional deliberation. In layman's terms, I do it incorrectly on purpose. So let me begin my first hypothesis. R4 is Uranus, the original gods. Now, in no certain terms can this particular hypothesis be disproven until Word of God is released upon the subject matter. So by de facto process, this is already a semi-established theory the moment I put this to either paper and or on video. Now, when I say that she is Uranus, she is essentially the last vestiges. I wholeheartedly believe that Uranus in general was murdered. I'll continue on that hypothesis once I establish my argument that R4 is actually Uranus proper. I decided that this was possible with a parallel example with Yuhabak in Bleach, in the fact that a deity can extend parts of themselves out if they are rendered unable to be in full form in some fashion. I believe R4 is Uranus via being an actual piece of her essence there in Uranus, for several reasons. The first is that Rebirth 1 had a scene in their true ending that really nagged at me for an eternity, where R4's normal form had, in the true ending, looked just like one of the CPUs. Please excuse the noise in the background. That's my garage door being open. The other is that she has an insane hatred for all CPUs, yet she never knew why. In the true ending for Rebirth 1, she had stated it, trying to figure out why she felt that way, particularly towards Neptune. Since the versions following Rebirth 1's story and the concept of its true ending being rendered pointless once more, with R4 returning to her old personality, it only proves the ever more jarring. It made me wonder for a long time where Sunako is going with this series. Yet Megadimension left us the answer right under our noses: Uzume and Kurome. This ties into both my first and my next theory. Uzume killed Uranus. You're probably wondering about the quartet, right? Didn't the quartet in R4 defeat Uranus, the very first CPU? Which, my answer is thus: it was a delusion. R4 never fought alongside the quartet. She fought along Uranus as the deity of sin, which is validated by Rebirth 2/Mark II, which was once considered an entire one-off from the previous series. Yet these series, despite everything that makes them confusing or spin-offs, are actually quite linear. In truth, the quartet fought Uranus and failed. The reason why they failed and they themselves were not an illusion was due to the remnants of the artifacts that Uzume stole to defeat Uranus herself after the quartet failed like a vulture. Like a vulture would. The reason the artifacts aren't a delusion of Uzume's is because her own delusions only exist as long as she sees fit to keep. She wouldn't leave the weapons around for others to defeat her with. It is highly doubtful that humans, considered a lesser existence in comparison to deities, would ever invent weapons that would defeat Uranus on their own. What if the quartet created those weapons from their own delusions, empowered by Kurome? Wouldn't it make sense then for Uzume to use the quartet drive before picking up the pieces? Uzume and Kurome became Uzume the Usurper after defeating Uranus. However, along the way, Neptune defeated Uzume. Before you protest, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't Neptune remember if she did back then? I have an answer for you. Amnesia in physical trauma. Due to the constant physical pains, amnesia can occur. That also holds true for psychological trauma. I believe Neptune is a tragic heroine, and once she fought 3-on-1 with the other CPUs, and subsequently lost her memories due to amnesia, she never fully recovered every memory. I myself have dealt with memory loss due to a psychiatric medication called Risperdal, and after 10 plus years off of it, I am still recovering some of my memories. I believe that if you deal with memory loss, you never fully recover from it, which is why Neptune never found her immediate chemistry and camaraderie with Uzume odd, and instead relegated to our meta-argument because I'm the main character. Uzume, due to some tragic situations of her own, was crushed and defeated by Hack's Histoire, which ironically and unintentionally explains her broken game mechanic in gameplay. And after defeated by Hack's Histoire, Uzume was sealed. I believe that once that happened, Uzume's multiple personality disorder and schizophrenia physically split off into 3 personas: cute Uzume, cool Uzume, and Kurome. Kurome centers around Uzume's grandiosity and is the center of her desire to slay and take over game industry. Cool Uzume is based off of Uzume's tomboyish aspect and therefore awkward with nudity in front of others and her feminine side leaking through. Cute Uzume is the kind and feminine aspect of Uzume, which originally worked with Kurome to slay Uranus, but for a much kinder reason: equality. She wanted to be friends with Uranus, but found her to be too rigid of a person. This will lead to another video hypothesis aspect for another video topic: legit Uzume x Neptune relations. With Neptune, her free-flowing personality allowed Uzume to be herself and be friends with another person for once. All personalities of Uzume's determined that she had to kill Uranus. She was the calamitous existence to end. Uzume took the blame for it, and we arrive at the current point in theory. For various reasons, Arfoire is Uranus, her last remnants, which explains Arfoire's power and existence as the deity of sin. The other theory that was proven here is that Uzume, for various and conflicting reasons, killed Uranus. Whether it is Kurome wanting to take over, cute Uzume seeking equality, or cool Uzume seeking friends and possible romance. Which brings me to my next point / theory / hypothesis I will make. The console war was a complete sham, a complete lie. Here's the center point of my argument. Even the CPUs don't remember the reason for it. All they remember of why is that they were told by the goddess they call their mother, i.e. Uranus. Which made me connect the dots here. What made me connect the dots here was the notion that in Rebirth 1, R4 helped raise the CPUs that she is so hostile towards. Why on earth would she do that? Simply put, R4 is Uranus' negativity. It isn't such a ridiculous notion either, Uzume considered. Therefore, she could also be the motherly aspect, which would serve as motive. Therefore, couldn't it be possible that Uzume was actually the one who came up with telling the CPUs how the console war works? Hell, you could even say that for Plutia even. I'm going to stick with Uzume, though, because I believe Uzume has more at stake to tell them how the console war works. If they knew the truth about Uzume defeating Uranus, their mother, it would make them hate Uzume beyond belief. So planning a lie about the console war would actually be very convenient for Uzume, especially if her main personality was to make the entire world an even playing field. I believe the Zero Dimension was a delusion co-created by acute Uzume's guilt and Kuromi's acceptance of said guilt. That Megadimension Neptunia was entirely about Uzume trying to finish the job. Yet instead she got something better than that, and because of that she became extremely happy. With this discussion, I've laid extremely solid groundwork as far as building these arguments into a theory. If you disagree with me on this crazy whacked out hypothesis, or perhaps would like to worship my brilliant deductions, feel free to comment and discuss with others and myself in the comments section. I am more than happy to discuss Neptunia stuff with you. If you either like my theories, or at least appreciate the time and thought put into this video, then leave a like. If you're new and you want more of this, like the video, subscribe, and click the bell for more one-man anime content and discussions. Also, I'm doing a series of Neptunia Theory videos, if this video was not already an indication. If you're a returning fan, feel free to voice your opinions on this. The same applies for new fans, but returning fans I didn't give the subscribe spiel because the subscriber clicking the subscribe button would unsubscribe them. I want to make Neptunia a huge-ass franchise thing for me because most of my gameplay centers around the Neptunia-verse. Also, if any...
Well guys, this is gonna have to be an edit in because the program I used edited and fucked up my recording for this theory video. So let me finish what I was saying. Also, if any Neptunia discussion videos do not cover a concept you would like to address, feel free to write it down in the comments section. I am one man, Virtuoso Madness itself, your anime and Neptunia Jesus, and the author who will send anime to a divine age. Have a nice day, and never stop loving anime.